ladies, have you ever been catfished by a guy? If so, how did you find out?
I don't think so. No.
You don't think you've ever been catfished?
You never have a guy use
No.
like stunning level 2 on Face app and then snatch his waist? That's never happened.
No.
She's smiling because she knows what the I'm talking about. Why are you laughing so hard, Amanda? Is it crazy to you that I know what stunning level 3 is? I'm going to use Hollywood 4, and then all of a sudden, wow, look how even and clear her skin is. What the going on? Flawless.
Bro, guys are getting catfished every day on social media, bro.
Right.
It's horrible.
Okay,
But
ready?
I think guys are learning the angles just as
There you go.
much,
So
but
you
like,
brought it up. So here's how it works, right? If I hold the camera up like this, and I'm a woman, nobody clip this. My boobs are bigger. My boobs are bigger, and my waist is smaller. So you'll see, like the girl who's overweight, what she'll do? She'll push her boobs together so they look like big and firm, and then she'll hold the camera up like this, and then kind of smile. Her face looks slimmer, her body looks slimmer, and her boobs look bigger because it's up here. So when you see that angle, like above 45-degree angle, you're dealing with a woman who's probably a little bit overweight.
You guys do
Report
that with
those
dick
accounts.
pics.
Huh?
Yep, report those.
Report those accounts.
accounts.
You have
Let me give you guys another piece of advice. So you'll notice a lot on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, they'll let you connect with an Instagram. So I would go to the girl's Instagram and then click that middle tab for her Reels so you can just see her in motion on Reels. Now, the only caveat I'll give you is that now Face App will also manipulate Reels.
Here's the better.
And
You
the
go to the
body.
photos of her from her friends. You go to the photos of her from her friends' posts.
yeah.
That's the real game.
So you tag, exactly. You look at photos that she's tagged in.
real friends aren't also editing your photos.
Yeah, I have a good one. I have a good one.
Yeah, well, just do the math. If she's a 10 on IG, just minus 3 points, and you'll be good.
Then you're good?
Yeah.
That's how it works? Okay.
So one thing I want to say is like I feel like women catfish more with like looks, but like men catfish with like lifestyle.
Of course.
Personality.
Lifestyles like so badly. I'm like,
man.
so where's this Lamborghini you posted?
I gotta-
You're picking me up in a Toyota.
Okay, so I have.
Yeah, I think there's more of an ROI with guys and networking if you post like cars and stuff like that. With girls, dude, they've met so many guys, like you said, they're faking that. So,
Bro, if you have a Lambo
yeah.
and you're in Miami, it actually hurts. It works against you because
Bro,
they're so rented
yes.
out there. It was like Wes when I was with Wes Watson last weekend. He was like, "Dude, I got Wyoming plates on these. Like tell me how I lease these things." He pulls up in 2 Phantoms and a Bugatti at the same time. That was crazy.
$10 million of
$10 million worth of car. He told me he was like, "Dude, I got to spend 1.3 million a month on my business just for write-offs." How crazy is that, man? So you see stuff like that. Yeah, it's.
I didn't even know those were his. When
Yeah, I would
them.
never do that stuff for girls though. If your purpose is on social media to get girls and you're using it as a dating app, just
you're
posting
stuck.
cars.
You're stuck.
You're gonna get girls don't really give a fuck. I'll be straight up. Girls don't give a fuck.
A subset of girls do give a. You're right,
But you don't want those girls.
You don't want those girls.
Exactly.
Correct.
So it traps you. You don't want to do that as a guy.
And there's no way. The other thing that's really great is there's no way out. For instance, if you put on a lot of muscle mass, we're taking Triathlon, Equipoise, and Masteron. What'll happen is like you can't go back. You can't put on that same level of muscle mass. When you take, you got to keep taking steroids.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. When you lead with money with a woman, you can't then turn that back into sexual desire.
Yep.
But you can go the other way, meaning it's what Homath calls Prince Charming. You can be this ultimately like super hyper sexually attractive man to her where she genuinely desires you sexually and then provide for her. And then you're Prince Charming. And then you are both. You build comfort and you have attraction. What you can't do though is start with comfort and then try to build an attraction. That makes it a little harder. You're the gay best friend who all of a sudden pulls his out at the movies. That doesn't work.
Well, yeah,
that doesn't work as
It's
well.
the same thing with guys who are trying to use dating apps for partners. Like, bro, you're there to fuck. That is what it is. And
Yeah.
guys who are messaging girls things like long topics and these questions, they're coming off too friendly or coming off as a too much of a long-term partner. When it's, dude, these girls want to, bro. It's either you or the guy she's in like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and you're right. I was just to finish this off. It's about the idea that it's easier for men today to like simulate and to fabricate like cues of higher status, especially because when we're on Instagram, it's never been easier for guys to go just lean against a Audi and like everybody presumes. I didn't have to say anything. They presume that that's your car. So if you're sitting by a Lambo, so, people are gonna say, "Oh, you rented that." That's gonna happen. But even if you don't say jack, that image is still right there. So it ends up being all perception. And then more to your point, instead of like back in the day, before like Tinder was a thing or like Bumble, Hinge and all that good stuff, there was Plenty of Fish, there was Match.com, but you used to have to write your own profile, like here's what I am, I'm this tall, I'm this more to love, or I'm in shape, athletic, whatever, I smoke, I want kids, I don't want kids, I have pets, whatever. You have to go through this like laundry list of things. You have to do this real soul searching about yourself, and then you have to go and create this sort of fantasy profile of who you would like to date. And okay, he's got to be like this, he's got to have this much much money. He's got to want his kid, so you would roll this. It's all very relationship based. And that insight and everything you had to go into to make your own profile and look for somebody else, that took a lot of time and a lot of energy to figure out what you're about, right? Now, nope. It's all
Instagram.
pictures.
It's
It's
too
all
easy.
pictures.
It's too easy.
It's not. Okay, you don't remember this. There used to be way back in the mid 2000s. There used to be, maybe you do, the Am I Hot or Not?
Yeah,
You
Hot or
remember
Not. It was great.
That is all Tinder is. It's Am I hot or not? And then you can. Oh, I'm hot. Okay, here's my phone number. That's all.
It used to be
Tinder is.
before it was called Facebook. It was called Face Smash, and it was a hot or not thing so basically Zuckerberg broke into he got access to the student records at Harvard, and he used all the photos from the student records, and then made a hot or not called Face Smash, a hot or not kind of thing called Face Smash. I don't think dating apps are bad for men, but I think they're inefficient unless you're really good looking, and I think dating apps are incredible for men. But for the rest of you, dating apps are just inefficient. I will say one really good thing that dating apps do though is that smart photo thing. You know what I'm talking about? You put like 9 photos in there, and it tells you. It'll tell you which one girls like that. That I do like. Guys should be using that. So basically, you could put 9 photos in there, and then you click the smart photo button, and it will tell you which one of the photos that girls respond to the most. That's a really good data point. So I do, and then what I would do is then I'd make that my cover photo on Instagram, and then I'd take that photo off my Tinder, and then figure out which the next one is the next one. That's what I would do if I was a guy, using that as kind of a way to figure out which photo is the best.
You guys do that with dick pics. Like,
what do you mean?
You guys catfish with pics.
What do we use? What do we proportionally stretch it?
Yeah, you get the angles. You get the angle going on.
So have you been disappointed? Whoa! I need to hear this. Stop! Everybody, stop talking. Come over to the microphone. You had a guy send you a pic, and then what happened?
No, you know what? I was dating this guy before.
Okay.
He lived 4 hours from me, and he was a good time. He was a good time. But you know what I'm like? I'm like a butterfly. Off I went into the big world. I was like, I fancy a bit of that this year. Like, well, I'll have a bit of that. So he sent me these pictures, and I'm like, it looks okay. Okay.
But you've already had sex with him.
I've already had sex with him.
This is really confusing.
Get this. He actually has the tiniest hands you have ever seen. Like, they're like miniature hands. It's almost perverted. Like, he has the tiniest hands. And so I forgot. Like, I think it must have shrunk, like fully shrunk. Because I got there. I traveled 4 hours for that piece. I traveled 4 whole hours for that dick, right? And I got there, and I was disappointed.
Disappointed,
honey.
That's when
I walked in. I walked straight out.
You know when you catch a fish, you're supposed to hold the fish out like this.
Yeah, that's what they're holding it closer to the camera.
That's what you're
You
supposed
guys,
to do.
you men do that.
Guys, I'm going to tell you something. Ready? This goes back to the original point. Do you want to know one thing that makes your penis smaller? Being fat. Obesity makes it small. It does.
So
Look
does
it up.
telling lies, Michael Sartain.
What'd you say?
So just telling lies.
Telling
they
lies.
say that every time a man lies to his wife, he loses an inch.
That would make sense. He'd have a black hole as a penis.
Inside.
His penis would literally be the singularity of a black hole. It'd be the event horizon of a black hole.
In my time.
That is pretty amazing.
Logan, have you ever been catfished?
Bro, one time I was on Tinder, and I actually had Tinder when I was like 17, when it was good. Back in the day, 5 years ago, Tinder was
Agreed.
fucking fire.
Yeah.
So far.
Agreed.
The ratios, God tier. So I had Tinder when I was younger. Me and my guys were swiping on there as a game. And I had one chick who was like 23. She looked pretty young,
And
though.
you're 17.
I was 17. She pulled it to my house. I didn't have a car back then. She pulled it to my house, and I'm walking out to the car. And I FaceTime her and everything. But she was like in low light, whatever. But her photos, she was like a 9, whatever. I walk up to the car, and she rolls down the window. And I'm like, are you this chick? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, no, you're not, bro. No, you're not,
Are
bro.
you her Uber
No, you're not,
driver?
bro.
And then, I just had to tell her straight up, like, yeah, you don't look like your photos, dude. And I walked out. Wow. And then I had another girl come over.
So let me. That's so great. So let me